Within seconds, a joyful night in Colombia can turn into a moment you will never forget. At 2 in the morning, music is still echoing through the streets of Medellín. Dancers are still spinning beneath the lights, and a woman with the beauty of a pageant queen is laughing inside a bar. Just a few steps away, however, a tourist's watch may disappear from his wrist before he even realizes what has happened. This is Colombia, a place where beauty, excitement, and danger can sometimes exist just one street corner apart. From a city once considered the most dangerous in the world, to Caribbean beaches, electrifying festivals, and secrets that never appear in guidebooks, this journey will reveal a completely different side of Colombia. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment telling us what makes you most curious about this country. Number 15. Medellín. From the most dangerous city in the world to a symbol of renewal. In 1991, Medellín recorded about 395 murders per 100,000 residents, the highest rate in the world at that time. Many neighborhoods were consumed by fear, and the city became tied to Pablo Escobar and the label of the most dangerous place on earth. But by 2024, the homicide rate had fallen to only about 11 cases per 100,000 people, a drop of more than 97%, and the lowest level in more than 80 years' time. On the hillsides that were once controlled by gangs, outdoor escalators now lead through neighborhoods covered in murals, while the skyline at sunset rises between green mountains like a Latin American city coming back to life. That transformation did not come from the police alone. Medellín invested in poor communities through libraries, public schools, and a cable car system, helping workers from distant hillsides reach the city center much faster, instead of spending hours on the road. The message was very clear. They also belong to this city time. Threes. Step into the streets, and Colombia appears once again with an energetic rhythm that never stands still. In Medellín or Cali, a red light can become a small stage for dancers, jugglers, windshield cleaners, or flower sellers, while on balconies, parrots and hummingbirds still appear as a natural part of everyday life. Number 14. Colombia, where inequality and beauty exist side by side. On the street, a dog walker struggles to hold the leashes of 10 dogs at once, looking almost like a sled dog team moving through the city. Behind that scene, however, lies the estrato system, something many visitors find difficult to understand. Every home in Colombia is assigned a level from 1 to 6, based on the living standards of its neighborhood, and that number appears directly on utility bills. The higher the estrato level, the more a household must pay, because wealthier families help subsidize services for poorer households. A home address can therefore feel like a price label printed again every month. 3's biz. For some people, it is an uncomfortable reminder of their social position. For others, it is the reason the lights can stay on. Comuna 13 shows this contrast more clearly than almost anywhere else. The district was once controlled by armed groups, but today its walls are covered with graffiti art, while outdoor escalators carry visitors up steep hillsides that were once associated with fear. Leaving Medellín, the story turns to Colombian women, who are often praised as some of the most beautiful in Latin America. The blending of indigenous, African, and European heritage has helped make Colombia a major force in the world of beauty, with Miss Universe titles in 1958 and 2014. In Cali, salsa is not simply a form of entertainment. It is part of the city's identity, supported by hundreds of dance schools. Daniela Tolosa, a beauty queen born in Cali, continued that legacy in 2024. Number 13. Colombia. When beauty becomes an industry. In 2026, Colombia ranked first in the world for cosmetic medical tourism based on the number of patients per plastic surgeon, with more than 100,000 international visitors arriving for procedures, most of them from North America. Appearance has long developed into a major industry here, but behind the glamorous image lies a far more complicated story: time. Threes. In the dating world, punctuality matters. Arriving late can easily seem disrespectful, while a simple gesture such as opening a car door is often valued more than an extravagant display. Some people may still give out their phone number simply to be polite, then quietly choose not to make contact again. Behind the crowns is constant pressure to be admired. Even though many Colombian women are highly educated, speak several languages, and hold important roles within their families, their beauty is real, but it is not the most important thing about them. Time. Within Colombian families, several generations often live under the same roof. Grandparents help raise the children, and the phrase, "My home is your home," has almost become a way of life. Colombians are deeply hospitable, but shouting at someone or using insults in public is often viewed as aggressive behavior. Even keeping your hands in your pockets during a conversation may be considered disrespectful. On New Year's Eve, people eat 12 grapes, wear yellow underwear, pull an empty suitcase around the neighborhood, or carry lentils to attract good fortune and welcome a prosperous year. Number 12. Omens and distinctive flavors of Colombia. Beliefs about omens in Colombia appear in the smallest parts of daily life. People avoid placing a handbag on the floor because they believe money will leave, while sitting at the corner of a table may mean someone will have difficulty getting married. Giving yellow flowers can also cause confusion because that color is sometimes associated with funerals. Few people treat these ideas as absolute truth, yet few dismiss them as nothing more than a joke time. They exist somewhere between belief and habit, much like many Westerners avoid walking under a ladder even when they do not truly expect something bad to happen. For Colombians, these rituals create a sense of belonging. Eating grapes, wearing yellow, or following unwritten customs is a way of saying that you are part of the family and its traditions. When invited home, arrive with a very empty stomach, because portions are often generous. Bandeja paisa is the clearest example, combining rice, beans, ground meat, chorizo sausage, fried pork, egg, ripe plantain, avocado, and an arepa on a single plate. Across Colombia, there are about 75 varieties of arepa, and almost every town believes its own version is the correct one. Threeses. The country's cuisine also includes more than 800 varieties of potato, Bogotá's ajiaco soup, lechona roast pork from Tolima, anise-flavored aguardiente, and lulada, a drink made from lulo fruit. The journey ahead still holds truths that most visitors have never heard. Time. Threes a mun. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss them. Sometimes the most memorable part of a country is found in places that never appear on any postcard. Now, let us continue. Number 11. Colombia's low cost of living and the reality behind it. In a Colombian kitchen, a meal is not judged by how many dishes are placed on the table, but by whether the guest still wants another serving. In remote Amazon markets, food comes directly from what the river provides, with simplicity valued more than display time. Threesies. The cost of living can also surprise many visitors. In 2025, a lunch that included soup, a main course, and juice cost only about $2 to $5, less than the price of a cup of coffee in New York. A one-bedroom apartment, usually rented for between $380 and $770 per month. In El Poblado, the area of Medellín, chosen by many foreign residents, prices could rise to around $700 to $1,800. With a monthly budget of about $900 to $1,500, a foreign resident could comfortably cover rent, meals outside the home, and transportation. For this reason, Colombia is sometimes called the Thailand of South America, time, 3 Z's. Behind those attractive prices, however, local incomes remain very low. In 2026, the minimum monthly wage was only close to $475, or about $540 when the transportation allowance was included, while $1 was worth nearly 4,000 Colombian pesos. As a result, an ordinary retirement pension from Ohio could become a significant source of income in Medellín. Number 10. Colombia. The wealth gap amid magnificent natural landscapes. For a foreign resident, a monthly budget of $1,500 can provide a fairly comfortable life in Colombia. But for the worker serving a $2 lunch, that amount is equal to nearly 3 months of full-time work at minimum wage. The low prices enjoyed by visitors are therefore not truly a bargain time. They reflect an economic gap measured through the working hours of other people. Beyond the cities, Colombia opens into a completely different world. The country is considered the second most biodiverse place on Earth, after Brazil, even though its land area is only about 1/7 as large. More than 63,000 species have been recorded here, including approximately 1,900 bird species and more than 3,500 varieties of orchids. The number of bird species alone exceeds the combined total found across Europe and North America. So 3s. The reason lies in the Andes Mountains, which divide into 3 separate ranges as they pass through Colombia, creating dozens of different climate zones, from cloud forests and high-altitude Páramo landscapes to tropical coastlines. Within a single day, travelers can leave a cold, snowy region and enter a rainforest. Amid the serranía, the Caño Cristales River appears in vivid bands of red, green, and yellow, resembling a landscape from another world, and earning its name as the River of 5 Colors. Number 9. Colombia, the land of coffee and magical realism. For several months each year, the aquatic plant Macarenia clavigera covers the riverbed of Caño Cristales in deep red, making the water glow with shades of red, green, and yellow at the same time. Local people call it the river that escaped from paradise time, 3s. From this remarkable crossroads, Colombia opens onto the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean, while reaching the Amazon through the town of Leticia. Across the green hills of the Eje Cafetero, stretching through Caldas, Risaralda, and Quindío, lies the coffee cultural landscape, recognized by UNESCO in 2011. Colombia is now the world's 3rd largest coffee producer, after Brazil and Vietnam, and the only major coffee-producing country that grows exclusively Arabica beans, creating a smooth, balanced flavor with less bitterness. Yet for generations, the families who cultivated this famous coffee drank inexpensive instant coffee, while the finest beans were shipped overseas time. 3s. Deep beneath Boyacá, the Muso mines hold another treasure, emeralds, with such clarity and such an intense green color that jewelers call it Colombian green. Most of these stones are still extracted by hand inside narrow tunnels. And from Aracataca, Gabriel Garcia Marquez carried that same sense of mystery into 100 Years of Solitude in 1967, helping Colombia's magical realism reach readers around the world. Number 8. From ghost stories to Caribbean rhythms. Gabriel Garcia Marquez once described 100 Years of Solitude as a 400-page vallenato, inspired by the folk music carried by accordion melodies along Colombia's Caribbean coast. What made his view especially striking was that he always insisted he had not invented the strange events in his work. As a child, he often listened to his grandmother tell stories about ghosts, omens, and events that seemed impossible, using the same calm voice she used when speaking about the weather, time, threes. Grand Levera time. Marquez simply wrote about Colombia in the way the country had always described itself, as a place where the mysterious could appear in the middle of an ordinary day without surprising anyone. In Colombian life, the boundary between wonder and reality has never been entirely clear. Music reveals the pulse of that spirit more clearly than anything else. Cumbia and vallenato emerged along the Caribbean coast through the blending of indigenous, African, and European cultures, then gradually became part of the national identity time. From Barranquilla, Shakira carried Colombian sounds to the world, while Carlos Vives and Karol G continued bringing those familiar rhythms to new generations of listeners. In Colombia, literature, music, and festivals do not exist separately. Together, they tell the story of a country that transforms the unexplained into emotions people can hear, feel, and dance to. Number 7. From a vibrant carnival to the most crowded island in the world. In Barranquilla, the carnival has been recognized by UNESCO as one of the largest street festivals in the world. For 4 days, the city almost sets work aside and surrenders to drums, dancing, and colorful parades. In Medellín, the flower festival fills the streets with silleteros, farmers who carry large floral displays on their backs, some nearly the size of a door. This tradition began when similar frames were once used to carry people across the mountain slopes. Times threes Kes. In a country that has endured so much suffering, joy seems to have become a way for people to heal themselves. Colombia transforms memory into literature, hardship into celebration, and sorrow into something people can dance with. From Barranquilla, Sofia Vergara carried that same energy to the world. Off the Caribbean coast, Santa Cruz del Islote appears almost impossible. The island covers only about 2.5 acres, yet nearly 1,200 people live there, which is why it is often described as the most densely populated island in the world. There is no hospital, no police force, and fresh water must be delivered by boat times 3 zis. For local residents, living so close together does not feel suffocating. Children learn to swim at an early age, while neighbors who are always within reach are seen as a source of companionship, not overcrowding. Number 6. Colombia. From the city of eternal spring to wonders beyond belief. El Peñol Rock rises about 720 feet above the flat landscape below, with nearly 700 winding steps clinging to its steep surface. Once you reach the top, a maze of blue lakes spreads out before you, surrounding the colorful town of Guatapé time. Near the equator, Colombia has almost no clearly defined 4 seasons. Medellín is therefore known as the city of eternal spring, with year-round temperatures of about 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet within the same country, you can also find the red Tatacoa Desert beneath a sky filled with stars, San Andrés Island, surrounded by a sea of 7 colors, and Ciudad Perdida, hidden deep in the Sierra Nevada mountains. This ancient city was built by the Tairona people around 800, nearly 650 years before Machu Picchu, but it was only rediscovered by the outside world during the 1970s time. For first-time visitors, Cartagena is the most accessible place to begin the journey. Its UNESCO-listed Old Town stands behind stone walls that once protected the port from pirates, at a time when both gold and enslaved people passed through this city. From balconies covered in flowers, colonial churches, and street performers, visitors can walk directly toward the Caribbean coast. Beyond Cartagena, you can climb El Peñol, hike through Tayrona National Park to Cabo San Juan, or explore the Cocora Valley, home to the wax palm, the tallest palm species in the world. Number 5. Bogotá, Colombia's capital in the clouds. Far from the sunlit beaches and the familiar heat of the tropics, Colombia reveals a completely different rhythm of life, where the mountains seem to reach the sky. Bogotá appears like a capital in the clouds, standing about 8,660 feet above sea level, which makes it one of the highest capital cities in the world. Although it lies not far from the equator, the city rarely feels hot or humid. Its elevation keeps the air cool throughout the year time, and each morning, fog often drifts through the old brick streets of La Candelaria, mixing with the warmth rising from cups of coffee in the hands of people passing by. In the city center, colorful graffiti-covered walls stand beside aging buildings, creating an atmosphere that feels calm but never dull. The thin highland air, the slower pace of life, and the long, steep streets give Bogotá a character unlike anywhere else in Colombia. From the summit of Monserrate, the entire city stretches out below, gradually fading into layers of low clouds times threes, like a place suspended between the earth and the sky. This is Colombia, in a softer, more mysterious, and more reflective form, completely different from the tropical images many people usually imagine. It is a beauty all its own. Number 4. Páramo, Colombia's sacred water sanctuary. Beyond the busy cities, the road along the Andes leads us into a world where the ground seems to merge with the sky. Páramo appears as Colombia's sacred water sanctuary, in a country that contains more than half of the world's entire Páramo ecosystem. At elevations above 9,800 feet, the air becomes thinner, temperatures fall, and mist covers the highland wetlands. Yet this place is far from barren time. It functions like an enormous natural water filtration system, quietly capturing moisture from the clouds before the wind can carry it away. Within the mist, millions of frailejones stand with their soft, hair-covered leaves, like silent guardians of the mountains. They absorb moisture from the air, guide each drop into the sponge-like soil, and slowly release it as clear streams that flow toward the valleys and cities below. From this quiet process, the water supply used by more than 70% of Bogotá's residents is formed time threeses, making the Páramo one of the most important ecosystems in the entire country. This is not merely a mysterious landscape of clouds and mountains. It is also a place where nature quietly regulates water, protects life, and supports millions of people every day, even though most of them will never see it with their own eyes. Number 3. The Amazon pink dolphin, a living legend in Colombia's rivers. Deep within the Colombian Amazon, where great rivers carry sediment through flooded forests and countless mysteries remain unsolved, lives a creature that many people might believe exists only in legend. It is the pink river dolphin, one of the most unusual freshwater animals on Earth. When it emerges beneath the murky water, it does not have the familiar gray color of an ocean dolphin. Instead, its body appears in soft shades of pink, like a moving streak of light beneath the river's surface. At birth, these dolphins are dark gray, but over time, as they grow older, remain active, and experience natural marks on their bodies. Their skin gradually becomes more visibly pink, that is making them one of the most unforgettable sights in the Amazon. For indigenous communities, the pink dolphin is more than an animal. It appears in many traditional stories as a river spirit, believed to change form and possess mysterious powers that people must respect. When night falls over the untouched rainforest, surrounded by the sound of insects and the slow movement of the water, the noise of these dolphins breaking the surface becomes a reminder that in Colombia time, the greatest wonders are not found only in the imagination. They are still quietly living, breathing, and swimming through the branches of the Amazon River every day. Number 2. Zipaquirá Salt Cathedral, faith carved deep beneath the earth. Deep underground, where sunlight cannot reach, Colombia preserves one of the most extraordinary structures in the world. It is the Zipaquirá Salt Cathedral, located nearly 660 feet beneath the surface, inside an ancient salt mine formed millions of years ago. Upon entering, visitors see no bricks, concrete, or ordinary building stone. The arches, columns, and walls were carved directly into solid salt, creating a space that feels both immense and silent. Time freezes, as though the entire cathedral had emerged from the heart of the mountain itself. Its story began with the miners. Before each dangerous shift, they carved small prayer chambers into the tunnels and asked for protection. Over time, those simple places of worship were expanded into an impressive religious monument. Within the darkness, a massive cross glows beneath colored lights, reflecting across the shimmering salt surfaces and filling the entire space with a mysterious atmosphere. The Salt Cathedral is not only a remarkable achievement of engineering and human labor, it is also a place where faith grew from fear, danger, and long days spent beneath the earth. For anyone who enters, the first instinct is often not to speak, but to remain still and look for a long time in profound silence. Number 1. Colombia's craziest national sport. If you think sports are only about fields, stadiums, and familiar ways of scoring, Colombia will change your mind with one unforgettable sound: the explosion of gunpowder. Tejo is the country's unique national sport, believed to have originated from a Muisca tradition around 500 years ago. Players stand at a distance and throw a metal disc weighing nearly 2 pounds toward a clay board fitted with small triangular packets of gunpowder. When the disc strikes the target, a sharp explosion rings out and sparks flash through the air, turning every throw into a moment filled with tension and excitement. For Colombians, however, Tejo is not only a contest of accuracy, it is also a reason for friends, co-workers, and families to gather after work, drink cold beer, listen to music, and cheer for every successful throw. Many Tejo venues, therefore, feel more like community bars than serious sports arenas. The score still matters, but the laughter and the feeling of sharing the experience together are what have kept the game alive for generations. Amid the music, the cheering, and the sudden explosions, Tejo reflects the warm, energetic, and generous spirit of Colombians, who know how to turn an ordinary gathering into a lively and unforgettable experience. As the music slowly fades and the streets of Colombia return to their familiar rhythm, what remains is not only the beauty, the beaches, or the colorful festivals time, but also the way people here continue living through danger, inequality, and memories that have never completely disappeared. Behind every smile is a story, behind every city is a past, and behind every beautiful landscape is a truth more complicated than what visitors first see ×3. And perhaps Colombia stays with us not because it is perfect, but because it has never tried to hide its own contradictions. Leave a comment about the moment that made you think the most, like the video, and subscribe to the channel to continue with us on the journeys ahead.